day, everyone. Welcome to the ECN Leadership Channel. Thank you very much for hooking up once again and for all the wonderful comments that we've been getting in time past. I want to say a very big thank you to you guys. I made sure that I responded to each and every of the comments just to ensure that I also share perspective and we can learn from each other. So, we have been talking about communication. We started with communicating vision, communicating within teams, and now another vital but very important aspect of leadership within teams is about a very clear, demonstrable attribute that every leader should always possess, which is discipline. So today we're going to be talking about discipline within teams. Discipline within teams. So what exactly is discipline? Somebody put it this way. He said, discipline plus vision equals leadership. It was George Washington who is attributed mostly to this quote that discipline is the soul of an army. Discipline is not just the soul of an army. Discipline is the soul of every business. Discipline is the soul of every family, every enterprise, anything that anyone wants to set out to do. Because discipline actually entails the consistent, persistent adherence to a set of rules or guidelines with a clear objective in mind, with the aim of, at the end of the day, meeting that objective. So consistency is actually the rule of the game. Consistency is the rule of the game. It's not just about showing up once and again, but it's about showing up again and again and again and again until the set objective is being achieved. And even when it is achieved, it's now time to set a new objective, something higher, something steeper, and then begin to apply that same principle of leadership, discipline in this case, towards achieving that set objective. So discipline is very, very key among teams. Why is it very key? Because discipline ensures that every member of the team, we are rowing in the same direction. It is something tantamount to killing the dream or killing the vision, killing the objective at hand if team members are rowing in different directions. So some team members are going this way, while some other team members are going the opposite direction. Some are going sideways. There is no how. The cohesiveness which is required to drive the team forward, because no vision is ever fulfilled by any one man. No, you need a team. No objective can be solely achieved by one man. You need a team. And so if you need a team, you need a team also that you are not only you are not motivating only, but you are also inspiring them. Because really, leadership, looking at it from a very, very clear perspective, leadership is actually about setting clear examples, setting a standard. And in setting that standard, you now begin to motivate, you begin to inspire, you begin to empower, equip others towards achieving that same standard. And with most good leaders, we not only strive for team members to achieve the standard that we have set, which in this case is discipline that we're looking at, but it's about exceeding that standard. Every great leader wants to be able to drive, wants to be able to replicate himself or herself into people that would eventually go beyond where that leader has actually been able to reach. That is actually the hallmark of leaders. So I just want to pick some examples like we've always been doing in our previous videos. Some of the great examples that I have from my own experience that I've had over a couple of years. I remember for some of you that know Lagos, Nigeria very, very well, which is where I have most of my work experience from. I actually commute when the roads were quite bad. I used to commute almost 2 to 3 hours to be to make 8 a.m. Monday meetings. We had this thing which I coiled up, which was, at the end of every month, we review the figures, review the sales, review the targets, review all other matrices and everything in order to be able to have perspective. But we also do something at the first week of every month, which is the startup meeting. Yeah, and the startup meeting, what we get to do is to lay down what our goals and objectives are for that month, set our strategies, look at our tactics in terms of rolling out, and then look for where do we get the support from in order to be able to achieve them. And then on a weekly basis, we now monitor them. And one of those ways we use in monitoring them is we had something that I called stand-up meeting. So on Monday meetings, this is typically a sales team. Yours could be a family business, yours could be any kind of enterprise, but it's still the same principle at the end of the day. So we had this thing called stand-up meeting. We don't sit, so we just drive into the car park of the establishment and we all stand. We have our cars parked maybe in a circle or any kind of form, and we all stand because it's Monday morning. We are charged. We are coming from the weekend. Everybody is fully ready for the coming week, and so we want to set the clear objective. We've seen what we have to do in the course of the month. We are probably 2 weeks down the month right now. We have 2 weeks more to go. So every Monday morning in the course of that month, we come to a stand-up meeting, and so we come to challenge ourselves. We come to look at what the figures are saying. We come to look at the challenges. We come to look at what exactly what is the pulse from the field, and then we'll be able to see how we can be able to navigate and be able to ensure that we make sure we hit our targets. So we stand up and I had to commit 2 to 3 hours sometimes when the roads were very bad towards ensuring that I'm at the startup meeting. So in terms of every of my team members, I actually was the one coming from the furthest location. Most of them had to drive maybe 1 hour or there about 1.5 hours. I had to drive twice that distance. But can I shock you? Every Monday morning, and I did this for over 10 years. Every Monday morning, every team member met me at the car park, ready for stand-up meeting. Every Monday morning, except if I was on leave or I was on something. But if I was at work, even though I had to commute or drive twice the distance from my location as compared to them, they always met me at that meeting. And for me, that was a standard, that was a reference, because I always made that example that if I can get here on time before the due time, how much more you that are coming from a closer location. So that is a clear example of discipline in leadership. And that made everyone to sit up, because everyone felt that, the best I can do, even though I get there after the leader, but I'm not permitted to get there after the set time, which was 8 a.m. So we had the stand-up meetings from 8 o'clock to 8:30, sometimes could stretch to 8:45, and then from there everybody moves and we go for our daily objective that we have set out very, very clearly. And the reason for this was that, the market I'm coming from is a very dynamic market, fast-paced. For any one of you that know Lagos, Nigeria as a whole, we used to control the business in Nigeria. So very fast-paced. Things can change like with the snap of the finger. And so you also must be ready to be able to react. So it could be that the tactics you had applied last week, you apply them and something changed out there in the marketplace, and then you quickly need to be able to react. Maybe the team member has tried to handle it on his own, but right now we circled together as a team and said, what are we going to do about this? This is what we set out to do. This is what the challenge that we met. Or say now we have to tweak this and we have to turn back, make things amend, and be able to move forward. But at the end of the day, we must achieve our objective. Another clear example that I have of demonstrating clear discipline within teams was when also, post-COVID, we actually also felt that impact, because we had to remain disciplined. We had our e-platforms of communicating with our customers. So you can't tell how challenging it was, every one of us during COVID, waking up in your homes, but you still have to work. So what we did then was that even during the COVID period, we maintained an 8 a.m. Monday. We couldn't call it stand-up meeting this time around, but you see, whether you were on your chair, whether you were on your seat, whether you were wherever you were, but you were in front of your system, your iPad, or your laptop, your phone, and the whole essence was that we needed to replicate the same 8 a.m. stand-up meeting that we're having. The whole essence was to ensure we maintained energy, we maintained activation, we maintained motivation within the team, that even though COVID was in the air, but yet our customers were very important to us, our patients were very, very important to us, and we need to ensure that we did the best that we could under the situation and circumstance, and ensure that those lives are being impacted positively. Post-COVID, again, there was another very good example that happened, and we had a challenge, a major supply chain challenge, logistics challenge, and this was because due to the fact that our products are brought in country, imported in country by a third party. So we're not a commercial legal entity, and so we had a third party that did that arm for us. And so what we saw was that because of a little bit of friction that we had with that group for about a whole year, and some months, we could not bring in product into the country. So we had a team that was fully set up. We had a team that was fully motivated, but there was no products. You can imagine, no product, no service, but yet you still have to go out there. And I remember some of our very close partners, everybody kept asking, but you guys don't have product. How do you sustain the motivation to show up yet every morning? And we said, man, we had to do what we had to do because this is what we are called for. And we tried to ensure that even though the products were not physically available then, we ensured that the communication, the messages, what was important to, in this instance, I work in the healthcare professional space, we ensure that we kept on communicating those messages, because those messages is actually what is the most important, to ensure that doctors are kept abreast with very apt but up-to-date information on the management, healthcare, taking care of their patients, and the way they need to be able to manage those chronic diseases. So this was something we did very solidly for over a year plus, but we maintained consistency. And let me tell you something, that consistency paid off, because when the products landed, it was a soup. We had created so much buzz and so much energy in the marketplace that when the products came, both out of sympathy and both out of the fact that yes, these guys have maintained consistency, they've been disciplined, they've been showing up every morning, they've been giving us the right messages, we had a boom. Yeah, so those are the benefits of consistency, which is a very key trait of discipline. So in this case, also on your own levels, on your own business, your own families, you could begin to set out those clear rules of discipline. Yeah, start small. Don't try to go the whole haul at once. Start small. When you start small, then after you start small, begin to also remove distractions. If you're someone, you know that social media distracts you from getting to your set objective or goal or task or whatever it is that you have set in the course of the day, in the course of the week or month or the year, remove them. For the period in view where you have to attend to those things, remove them. And after removing any distractions that you have, you could also go further right now. Begin to monitor the progress. Because one thing progress monitoring does is that it helps you to celebrate your small wins. When you have small wins, you celebrate them. Even you yourself, you're motivated further to go the extra mile. So, and then have an accountability partner. First, yourself. Every one individual must be accountable to himself or the other to take responsibility. So that's one thing discipline does. Discipline puts you in the place whereby you are bound to take accountability. So you take accountability for yourself and then look for an accountability partner that you can sound yourself and say, help me. If you're late, wake up from sleep and you have a roommate, apart from the alarm that you set up, why don't you tell your roommate to tap you up if he or she has the advantage of waking earlier. So these are some of the things that you can actually do to be able to ensure that you maintain discipline, because discipline is key to achieving the set vision, the set objective, the set goals. Whatever it is that any team does, remember that quote, which is mostly attributed to George Washington. Discipline is the soul of the army. And not just the soul of the army, it's the soul of any business, the soul of any enterprise, the soul of every family. Anything you set your hands to do, consistency is the rule of the game, and that is a major trait of discipline. So, thank you very much. I want to hear what your own comments on how you dealt with your own discipline challenge in the course of your working place, your work time. If you're a member of a team or group, let us know. Hit us on the chat, on the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, share, repost this video. It's been a big plus and blessing to a lot of people. I'm getting a lot of comments and calls in that regards. So keep watching and let's keep spreading the message. Leadership is key. Leadership is about service. Leadership is not about rulership. It's about you setting that clear standard and then empowering, motivating, inspiring others to be able to achieve that standard and definitely exceed them. Yeah, thank you very much. So do have a lovely and a productive week ahead, and I'll see you on the other side of the next video. Bye.